You don't need to justify your boundaries or your feelings, but you do need to communicate them clearly. Communication is a two-way street, and we might not always realize when our message isn't clear. Sometimes the other person genuinely wants to understand and respect our boundary, but if we haven't communicated it clearly, then they might miss out. In this case, it's important that we listen to the other person who we're trying to set the boundary with and answer any questions that they may have. If their questions arise from a place of understanding and not dismissal of our boundaries, then it can be helpful to clarify our boundaries. Otherwise, the other person likely won't know how to respect our boundaries, and you'll be setting yourself up for disappointment. For example, if you try to set a boundary by saying, "You need to stop coming over." Okay, well, this is very unclear and may lead the other person to ask reasonable questions such as, "What do you mean?" Like, "You don't want to see me at all?" Or "You don't want to see me on work nights?" "Are there times when you're okay with seeing me?" These questions are reasonable, provided that the boundary was not clear in the first place and more information is necessary to be able to actually abide by the boundary. On the other hand, a response such as, "Oh my God, you're overreacting. Why are you acting like this? What is wrong with you?" is more accusatory and unhelpful and defensive. These questions are prompting for justification rather than explanation. And you don't need to justify your boundaries. But if someone is genuinely trying to understand your boundary so they can follow it, then it's important that we provide more explanation. It's not fair for us to get upset at someone for not following our boundary if we either never told them our boundary in the first place, didn't tell them clearly, or didn't answer their questions when they didn't understand what our boundary was. People won't know how to treat you if you don't clearly tell them how you need to be treated, how you need and want to be treated. If you don't explain yourself clearly and refuse to answer their questions, then you can't blame the other person for not knowing how to treat you the way that you want. Setting boundaries is a challenging, ongoing journey that requires time, energy, and practice. It's not a skill that most people are inherently good at. If you're new to setting boundaries, be mindful that you may not always be communicating as clearly as you think. Take time to answer genuine questions and take responsibility for the way you set your boundaries with others. I hope this helps. Be sure to follow me for more tips.